What's going on, everybody? It's Tom.
And it's Jamie. Welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast.
The Chronicles of Bloodstock 2024.
My name's Aid, and I'm the guitarist of Darkest Era, Irish dark metal.
Yes, nice. It's a pleasure to have another Irishman on the show. We love it. Perfect. How's your personal Friday treating you?
Yeah, it's great. Better than most Fridays.
Yeah.
So far as Fridays go.
Does it feel like real life here, does it?
No, it's a bit of a sort of a weird, surreal circus, but like in a good way. No, it's great. Like there's a really good atmosphere. The weather's smashing, and people are having a good time, getting a few beers in, seeing some cool bands. So yeah, just seen Grand Megas earlier. They were awesome. So
decent, nice. Yeah. I was going to say to everybody, you were looking forward to checking out yourself.
Yeah, well, I caught the end of Green Lung. Been listening to their new record quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's been good. And then Grand Megas. And then later on, Eternal Champion. So very much in the traditional heavy metal vein.
Yeah, but I've heard quite good things about them. So
yeah, they're super cool.
Champion.
But today it's just stacked. Like you got Enslaved as well, Rotting Christ, and then Opeth later. So loads of good bands.
Yeah. Are you excited to play?
Definitely. Yeah. It's our first time here. First time being here in general. So. It's a really good slot, like 5 o'clock. People are just the right amount of, lubricated. So
yeah. Is that what they call it? Is that?
So it's perfect. We're really buzzing, I would say.
Wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best with it later on. So, for a Darkest Era show compared to a Darkest Era festival show, do you change the set list up accordingly if people might not be so familiar with yourself? So you want to just play all the bangers?
No, it's always all bangers all the time. Doesn't matter. It's a slightly different set list. So there's a couple of we rearrange it typically.
Okay.
And there's a couple of more introspective doomy numbers that we maybe take out just for the sake of the flow of the set.
Yeah.
But no, typically not. It's more or less just like we do what we do. So it's more or less the similar show that you would get at a headline show. Just less of it, but we. We kind of believe in just, doing what we do and letting people decide for themselves. So we don't really do like a festival set, I don't think. So
incredible. So this is a podcast. We're ambassadors for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. Are you familiar with Sophie's story?
Absolutely, yeah. For sure.
So basically, we're talking to people here this weekend. Basically, find out if being part of this community still affects you today. Obviously, when we were younger, most of us did have to deal with issues. But is this something that still affects you today, where you're treated differently, whether it just be a side eye, a funny look, the odd comment, or even if you're like the doctors, I don't know, whatever it may be, does it still affect you today?
Honestly, I don't think so much. I think that people are generally a little bit more accepting of subcultures nowadays, generally, although obviously you only have to look at what's going on in the UK right now to see that there's still some serious issues in terms of people accepting differences in their neighbour and whatever. So, but in terms of the metal community, I used to have long hair, and you get a lot more sideways glances back then, 15 years ago or something. Not so much now, but I think as well, when I was in school, it was more alternative. If you had tattoos and long hair, you'd be like, oh, this guy's into Slayer or whatever. But now you see somebody with tattoos and long hair, it's like it could just be a bloke that works at a coffee shop and is into Taylor Swift or something, So I think that appropriation of certain aspects that were typically heavy metal, it's just more common now to see someone with long hair and tattoos, and that's great. That's a good thing.
It is great.
So I don't think you don't get shouts of cut your hair and stuff that you would have in the past, I don't think, but maybe it depends on where you are. So
I think that might be part of it as well. But obviously, what happened to Sophie when we were growing up, and then you compare to 2024, the world's a very different place, as we were just saying. So do you think for the younger people it's easier to grow up and be part of this community now than it was for us?
I would hope so. Certainly it's more accessible, so when we were coming through, it was still a little bit niche. It really was underground. You had to find the other guy in school who maybe wore band shirts and knew who Dark Funeral were, or some bloke who had a Mayhem tape, or even listen to Guns N' Roses or whatever. So I think it's easier to access more obscure music and alternative music now for kids. But I think the flip side of that is that I think maybe kids don't buy into the subculture in the same extent. So what you notice is there's less and less like metalheads coming through, because I don't think they attach themselves to the identity in the same way that that we did, certainly. Personally, I don't think that's the case. I think you have a lot more, because younger people are consuming music differently nowadays. It's not part of their identity in the same way that it was for us when we were growing up. It's like, you're a metalhead, this is everything that you're about. Now I think you might just get people that are a little bit more transient maybe, and that's just due to how they consume music and I think the changing priority of music within their, it's not the soundtrack to your life anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. That's my opinion on it. But
it's a really good point. I've never thought of it like that. It's a really, really good point. But bringing it back to you guys, you have a new album coming out in September. How excited are you to get this out?
It came out September a couple of years ago. So,
what?
Yeah, unless we've recorded something that I don't know about and it's coming out.
Well, our research failed us.
Which would be, you never know.
Well, if that's the case.
No, our most recent record came out September 2022. It's called Wither on the Vine on Candlelight Records. It's been doing really good. I think it's probably our best record. We are the kind of band that we don't tour heavily. We sort of do like select shows, festivals, and mini tours. So in a way, we're sort of still promoting it, still getting it out there. So, that's our latest record, and it's check it out. Wither on the Vine.
Well, I apologise. I obviously read something very wrong there, didn't I?
That's quite alright. You're forgiven. It's fine.
If that's the case, it came out in 2020. Is there new stuff on the way? Or?
Yeah, there's some stuff demoed. Hoping to sort of record probably spring, early summer next year. Just depending on how quickly it comes together. But obviously we're a DIY like part-time band or whatever, so people have real lives going on. So it just depends on how quickly we can work on it. But there definitely will be another album, and it won't take us long. So there was about 7 or 8 years between our second and third record. This one, I can safely say, it'll be out a lot quicker than that. So so we've kind of got some momentum on that at the minute, and hopefully recording next year.
Incredible. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.